to observe the whole movement of myself is necessary for the learning of the me. Right? To learn about myself, which is essential because myself is the society, the world, the family, the wife, I am all that. To watch myself with the past is always either condemnatory or justifying, and therefore there is never an ending to conflict. I don't know if you're following all this. But to observe without the observer is to learn, which is not to accumulate. Because the thing which is being observed is in constant movement. Right? I can only observe very dispassionately, objectively, with something that's dead, which doesn't interfere, arouse various reactions in me. Is it this word, to observe without the reaction of the past? I don't know if you have tried all this or have done it. If you don't do this, conflict is inevitable, obviously. Because where there is an observer, separate from the thing observed, there is not only space, time, and all the reactions, and therefore division and conflict. This is simple. I have an image about my wife, and she has an image about me, which each of us have built through 20 years, 30 years, or 10 years, or 10 days. And the relationship is between these two images, and therefore conflict. Therefore, all relationship will inevitably breed conflict. Right? This is so. Everybody is silent. You're all much married, aren't you? I'm not, so it's all right. Now, these images, I have an image about myself, and I have an image about the world, and I have an image based on innumerable formulas of what should be. What was, what is, and what should be. I have so many images. All these images are me. Right? And these images invariably divide each other. Therefore, the conflict between each image is inevitable. That's one's way of living. Now, to find out a life in which there is no image and no conflict, that's what we are inquiring. As one can observe the tree dispassionately without naming and all that, and if you observe more attentively, the space also disappears. Really, it does disappear if you have ever played with that kind of thing. The space, which is the time interval between the observation and the contact, totally disappears. This also can be can be brought about through chemicals, LSD and other forms of chemical warfare. Which is artificial and on which one depends more and more, and then there is a great deal of fear and all that's involved. Now, one is asking oneself, whether it is one is asking an observation of oneself which is in constant movement without the time element, without the verbalization of what is seen, without the sensor, the resistance and so on, so that between the observer and the observed space disappears inwardly. I wonder if you got this.
I have a question, sir. Is that observation within the field of the known? I mean, is it, if you are observing at that level yourself, is that, well, that's the only way I can put it. Does it make any sense? Is it within the field of the known?
No, it's not, obviously. The known is the past. All knowledge is the past. One is adding all the time to the past. And one's life is the past. Huh? Isn't it?
Yeah.
And the past modified in the present, the future, and so on, so on. Now, and to learn about oneself requires this quality of attention in which there is no distortion in observation, right? When there is an observation of condemnation, of the censor, of resistance, the resistance, condemnation, the censor is a distortion, right? And I learn about distortion. So one is asking oneself to observe without distortion.